This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic afternoon. It is our favorite day of the week, isn't it, Hani?
Yes, indeed. It is Thursday, fun day now. Thursday is the day where you feel relaxed, you feel calm, because tomorrow, which is Friday, you don't have to wake up so early.
Not at all. And people get to enjoy a very relaxing weekend while still trying to stay as safe as possible. You're listening to Future Talk. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world. Today's headlines have a lot to do with Apple, because Apple just released a brand new iPhone update that will fix a lot of the security bugs that many people have been facing with the latest iPhone 12 and iOS 14. So we're going to tell you exactly how you can install it and what bugs will it help you fix.
Yes, and in the Northeast United States, there has been a widespread of internet outages, and we're going to tell you why and how that happened.
Yes, indeed. Some of the biggest websites, Facebook, Google, have actually been down yesterday as well. But in the world of gadgets, lots is happening with Samsung, because Samsung is planning to become the first phone to get a new low-power OLED display. Now, for those of you who don't know, our screens actually consume a lot of our battery power. So if we could work on that, we can definitely help save a lot of our battery power.
Yes, and students in Saudi Arabia have developed a device to detect COVID-19 and even disinfect belongings using light. Now, I do have a hunch that that will be ultraviolet light.
I have that same hunch as well. In the world of apps, lots is happening as well, because we're going to be talking about Google Maps soon showing us COVID-19 vaccine locations. So you no longer have to ask your friends and loved ones where you should go if you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
Yes, we have a lot in store for you guys today. It is Thursday, fun day. A lot of exciting things are going to happen, and we're going to start this show with Sway by Dean Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. Let's get it.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
The internet has become our lifeline. Whenever there's a certain outage taking place, even if it's just within your own home, you know, your Wi-Fi is acting up, many people feel like life is over. There's no way to communicate with those around you unless you have 4G or 5G to also use the internet. But somewhere in Northeast in the US, people were suffering from a widespread internet outage that has definitely left a lot of people on the edge of their seats trying to understand why it happened and how it even happened.
Yes, internet users across the Northeast US did report widespread outages. And who is to blame? Well, we're going to tell you all about that in a bit. Now, the telecom giant Verizon has reported a cut fiber in Brooklyn, and they did release that news via Twitter. Although it is not clear if that issue was responsible for the entire outage, Verizon didn't give any estimate in its email whether or not the problem could or would be fixed. Now, Comcast, which is another major internet service provider, did also say its network was performing normally in the early afternoon on the East Coast. Now, people were posting on Twitter did report having issues connecting with various online services in a geographic area stretching from Washington all the way to Boston. Now, that is a densely populated region which does include key U.S. government services as well as major financial companies. And when that happens, you have that cut to major government services and major financial companies. That is a big no-no. Now, sometimes I'll be on the internet, ladies and gentlemen, and the internet will be a little bit slow.
Yeah.
And I'll get annoyed. And I'll get pissed off. I'm like, why? Why is the internet slow? And I'll go restart my router. And I'm just thinking about when you have an outage of this caliber, how it can, number one, affect the stock market, and number two, affect key government services.
Yes, indeed. Especially because a lot of the times, sometimes hackers would be the people behind such outages. And when it affects the U.S. government services, that's definitely a big red flag. Now, the outage was also affecting some of the most major internet and cloud providers. Big websites like Google and Facebook could not be loaded, and that has definitely caused a lot of people to sit down and worry. Amazon, whose web services division powers a wide range of online services, also indicated that its network is not the cause of the problem, because they did actually blame it on Amazon taking over and creating a big load on the internet in the country. Now, they were trying to investigate connectivity issues with the internet provider and trying to see who was most affected. Google did say that it did not find any issues within its own services, and it was investigating the cause behind it.
Yes, now the East Coast outage did begin around 11:25 a.m. local time and did begin recovery at around 12:37 p.m. So we're looking at around an hour and 12 minutes of no internet. Now, there was a report of a 12% drop in traffic volume to Verizon. Now, they also did not say whether they know if the carriers were impacted. Now, disruptions to internet services are always a hassle, but they have become even more horrible as the pandemic does force millions of people to work from home and students to attend school remotely. So we're looking at how important the internet is becoming more and more. Now, we already know how important the internet is, but when you have an outage on internet, that is a big problem, as well as, again, we are in this pandemic.
It is a lifeline for many people, whether you're working from home or learning from a distance. And if you've actually suffered from, a minor internet outage, whether it was within your own home or a widespread one, there are some tips and tricks that a lot of specialists have been sharing with us. The first solution to fixing your internet outage, if you're not sure if it's happening within your own home, is to make sure that you've paid your bill. A lot of people tend to forget to pay
Go to Twitter.
The internet bill. Why?
Because Twitter, whenever...
To see if it's a country outage or
So
not.
a lot of people, what they do, Omnia, is when they face a problem, whether it's online or offline, what they'll do is they'll go to Twitter and type in the search, for example. Let's say Hani is a major service provider. They'll write Hani. And a lot of people say, oh, Hani is not working today. Hani's doing this.
You remember when we had an outage in the UAE?
Yes.
With a lot of websites actually stopping, we took it to Google and Twitter.
Yeah, so when Snapchat sometimes goes down, you'll see it automatically, Omnia. You'll go to Twitter, oh, Snap is down. Is Snap down? I'm not getting snaps. A lot of people will start complaining that Snapchat is down, and then you'll know that it is not your problem. 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95Radio. Did you ever suffer any internet outages in a time where you needed it the most? 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and how it is the first phone to get the new low-power OLED display.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Samsung and the Galaxy S21 Ultra and how it is going to be the first phone to get a new low-power OLED display. Now, with this type of gadget, obviously, I'm not a big fan of Samsung. a lot of people who tune in the show know. But I do like how preserving battery and getting the most out of your battery is very important. Now, we do learn that most of the details on the Samsung's phone prior to launch, thanks to rumors and leaks, obviously. And then Samsung comes out and tells us a new secret, that we will get a low-power OLED display for smartphones.
Yes, indeed. Now, what's an interesting point that you brought up, Hani, is we're not a big fan of Android devices, but when we did have the Apple iOS specialist on the show, he did say that a lot of the times Android comes out with innovative ideas, but then Apple is the one that perfects them. So it is a new concept that the company is widely sharing for everyone because they're trying to get everyone hyped up for the brand new Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra phone. Now, for those of you who don't know, the power that comes out of our screens actually consumes up to 16% of our battery. So even if you're not on any social media platform, if you're not doing anything, just by merely scrolling through, looking at your screen, you're consuming about 16% of your battery. So it may not seem like much at the beginning, but these displays actually, if we can save up power on them, we can definitely help save the health of our batteries as well. So Samsung did announce that the brand new OLED display will be using a new organic material that is dramatically improved for its luminous efficiency compared to the company's previous smartphone panels that we've always seen, that we've always known.
Yes, now what does this mean for us, the consumer? It does boil down to having a brighter display, which does consume less power. Now, together with the Galaxy S21 Ultra adaptive refresh rate, this also resulted in excellent battery life. But Samsung is producing OLED smartphone displays for other manufacturers as well, meaning we might soon see each smartphone featuring this new display, which would be amazing. Now, for those who are big Android fans, you can pre-order the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra now, with units shipping in tomorrow. It will be starting tomorrow, January 29th, where anyone can get their hands on an Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now, for me, I'm not a big fan of Samsung. That's number one. I've tried. My first Android phone, Omnia, was an HCT.
Oh,
HTC. HTC. It was an HTC.
Back in the day.
And then I upgraded to the Galaxy S3. Remember, if you had an S3 Omnia, you were on the block.
I hadn't. Was it the S4 or is it the S6?
I don't know. I don't know what you had.
No, I mean it was the one that had it's like a flip phone, but horizontally.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Horizontal flip phones.
I had the Galaxy S3 Omnia, and I thought I was a big baller. And then all of a sudden, Omnia, I was like, you know what? I actually don't like this a lot. Let me try the iPhone 5, and I got the iPhone 5S. I remember it was the first one to have that space gray in the back.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was, oh my God, I'm remembering it right now, Omnia. It was like a kid on Eid day.
Oh my Lord. Listen,
I miss that day. I'm going to take off my cover on my phone right now.
And act like it's the 5S?
No, just because I love the feeling of my thing. I think I broke my cover, but yes.
Look, whenever we're talking about Samsung phones, the one feature I remember loving about them is how easy it was to move my data. Until Apple actually released their new feature where you can simply transfer the data by putting the phone right next to your old phone. Now, Samsung did say that this technology means that we are looking at improving a lifetime worth of batteries.
Yes.
Since the first thing that actually starts slowing your phone down is when the battery health is compromised. I actually changed my phone just because of the battery. It was ending too soon. I was having to recharge often, and that was just not convenient in the fast-paced life that we're living in.
100%. Now, with that 5G capability that Android
devices
and Apple devices do have, I'm looking at a decrease actually in battery life compared to when I had it on 4G. Now, something that actually kind of caught my eye with the new iPhones is that it does have that iPhone 5 feel.
Yeah.
With that boxed rectangular feel.
They're not curved edges anymore.
Not curved edges, man. I didn't like the curved edges that much, but now sometimes I love just holding the phone. It feels nice and firm in my hand.
The grip feels sturdy.
Yeah, man. I just feel like I own thousands of companies, and I just feel like I'm Big Boss Hani.
Well, let us know. Do you own an Apple device or an Android device?
I think for the rest of the day, I'm going to take off my cover.
I don't think that's the safest option.
I'm going to clean it right now. Right here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm doing a tutorial how to clean your phone screen.
With a good old basic tissue.
And some breath.
Fantastic. Very COVID friendly.
It's my phone.
If I may say so myself. Let us know, what type of phone do you own? Do you have an Apple iPhone, or do you own an Android device, whether that was Huawei, Samsung? Share with us your thoughts at 4215 Dur Salat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. We want to hear from all of you. Join the conversation. But coming up on the show, we have very interesting topic to talk about, because students in Saudi Arabia have actually created a device that can detect COVID-19 and disinfect your belongings by simply using light. So no need for any harmful chemicals or even sanitizers anymore.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
During the coronavirus pandemic, the sanitizer, wipes, disinfectant alcohol has become an accessory that we have on hand at all time. It's a necessity, not even an accessory, but if you look at any woman's purse, if you look in anyone's pockets, you'll always find some form of disinfectant to try and make sure that we're trying to take all the precautionary measures that we can to keep ourselves and those around us safe. But students in Saudi Arabia decided to be creative when it comes to disinfecting their belongings as well as disinfecting different devices. And they have actually created a machine that can detect COVID-19, but also disinfect all of our belongings by using light.
Yes, indeed. Now, the ongoing pandemic has triggered a global crisis with travel restrictions and increasing pressure on healthcare infrastructure to contain the outbreak since the past year. But obviously, we're looking at a positive attitude towards tech adoption born out of this emergency. It has created opportunities as well as inspiration for young minds to find innovative solutions. And we're seeing that with the pandemic, Omnia. Again, I'll say it once and I'll say it twice. That ever since the pandemic, yes, we've been going through a hard time, but it has lit up the minds of young children. Now, students in the UAE have actually used time during a lockdown and exposure to online learning tools for creating AI-based gadgets at a young age. And their counterparts in Saudi Arabia aren't far behind, since a group of students in Jeddah have created scanners which do detect COVID-infected patients via body temperature at checkpoints without human contact. Now, in addition to spotting these COVID symptoms like fever without the involvement of in-person testing, the gadget can also disinfect an individual's smartphone and wallet by shining UV lights on them, which are ultraviolet lights.
Now, ultraviolet light and the ultraviolet rate technology have been proving to be very successful during COVID-19. Now, whenever we're looking at researchers, some say that it does actually kill the COVID-19 virus, the pathogens, but others say that we do need to put it hand in hand with alcohol, any disinfectant, to actually get that optimal effect. Now, these students actually took 2 months to create this technology as a graduation project. So it's a project that was inspired by the pandemic to try and create a solution for an issue that they're facing. And now they are deciding to take it forward into the marketing phase so that they can actually deploy these scanners in areas in Jeddah and Saudi Arabia as a whole. Now, we've seen these thermal cameras be implemented in the UAE, in malls, and basically any place you enter right now probably has a thermal scanner to try and make sure that everyone's temperature is in check. But having a device that can also disinfect people's belongings, I think, is a very big game changer when it comes to dealing with COVID-19, because a lot of the times our devices and our gadgets carry more bacteria and viruses than we even think.
Now, Saudi Arabia actually has been very proactive in deploying thermal scanners to monitor the public for possible onset of COVID-19 infections. And they even have mounted similar devices on drones. Now, the kingdom has also moved ahead quickly to safeguard its population by approving the AstraZeneca and Moderna vaccine candidates, in addition to the Pfizer jab, which is already being provided to residents. So we're looking at how all parts are taking place, whether it's government or the general public, to consume and kind of take care when it does come to the COVID-19 pandemic. And they're taking all the precautionary and preventive measures that are needed to stop the spread of COVID-19. And thankfully, right here in the UAE as well, we're looking at a lot of UAE students doing their best to kind of
combat the virus
and being innovative as well. I do remember during the pandemic, Omnia, we brought a number of students on the show talking about their experience during the pandemic and how some of them even went to the extent of making their own self-home built sanitization station.
Yes, and you can actually find those interviews. One of them is by Fatima Al-Kabi on our podcasts, Future Talk 95 on SoundCloud, as well as YouTube videos on Pulse 95, the YouTube channel. Now, the UVC technology, or using UV lights, it's not a brand new technology, but we've definitely seen it being repurposed during this pandemic. We've seen a lot of gadgets on Amazon, actually, and different online or e-commerce websites actually selling UV disinfectant cases for your phone, for your gadgets, and people, they went out of stock during the first period of the COVID-19 right here in the UAE.
Now, funny enough, I don't know if you remember this, around before the pandemic, obviously, you and I, we did bring a gadget on the show, which was that UV sanitization for your phone. Yeah. And obviously at that time, we're like, who wants this? No one wants this.
People were buying them as birthday gifts and Christmas gifts.
People were like... I believe the price on that too was pretty cheap. It was like 40, 50 dirhams.
Yeah.
And now it's skyrocketed to around 120, 115 because more demand and people are trying to make money off of it. But it just goes to show, in a blink of an eye, things can go for better and things can go for worse.
You know, when I bought my new phone, the clerk at the store was actually trying to entice me to buy that sanitization case or whatever.
I mean, I do it the old-fashioned way, Omnia. I just spray alcohol on it.
Yeah, and you can even do it on, what's it called? The soft cloth that you get with your glasses or sunglasses. Just spray a little bit of sanitization on it, whether it was alcohol, disinfectant alcohol, or even just some of the wipes. Wet it out and then clean your screen with it. Lots and lots is still in store on the show. Coming up, we're talking all about Google Maps and how it will soon show us COVID-19 vaccine locations in the UAE and around the world.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
What's worth a click and download, ladies and gentlemen? You probably have this app already downloaded. And we're talking about Google Maps and how it will soon show COVID vaccination centers and locations across the UAE and across the world.
Yes, indeed. Now, a lot of people have been looking for locations to get the COVID-19 vaccine. In the different Emirates, different locations are actually offering it, and there are so many. So people can actually pick and choose what is most convenient for them. But since a lot are being added every single day, many people don't know exactly where to go and when to get it. And this is exactly why Google Maps is coming in handy, because Google wants to be always the center of people's attention. They want to try and ease everything. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen the app actually showcase places that had a high rate of COVID-19 patients. We saw actually providing locations of where there would be COVID-19 checkpoints. And now they're trying to load the search and maps that they have on the application with all the information that you would need about vaccination sites.
Now, in the United States, we've already seen this being implemented, and soon you'll be able to search COVID vaccine and get location results showing access requirements, appointment information, and if the site has a drive-through. Now, Google says in the United States it is partnering with Boston Children's Hospital, vaccinefinder.org, government agencies, and retail pharmacies for the data. Now, elsewhere in the Google empire, the company says it will open up various Google facilities as vaccination sites. Now, Google does also plan to include a launching on the Get the Facts campaign across its services, probably to counter the conspiracy theories that the company is often caught promoting via the YouTube algorithm. Now, the post also does say the initiative will run access through Google and YouTube to get authoritative information out to the public about vaccines. Now, we do know that a lot of people are skeptical about the COVID-19 vaccine and whether or not they should get it, or if there's going to be any repercussions or side effects about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. And most of the information is false, or if not all of that information. So Google is setting out that campaign for the facts to get them right and for people to be informed and not misinformed when it does come to information about the vaccine. Now, the past 2 years, we've been looking at a kind of stream of misinformation in the online place, looking at starting it with the COVID-19 pandemic, starting with the 2020 election, and now we're going into that COVID-19 vaccine. So in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not even opinion, it's a fact, that you should always take your information from authorized, number one, government websites, and number two, medical professionals.
And Google is helping out with that through their Get the Facts initiative. Now, one interesting thing that I personally liked is that they're also expanding this initiative to YouTube. So you can actually go ahead and get your facts right, even if you're watching any video regarding the COVID-19 virus. So if you want to find out exactly certain vaccination sites around you, all you have to do is actually search for vaccines near me. And this will allow a lot of vaccination sites to pop up right next to you. Now, as of right now, this feature is only available in selected countries. I know in the US it has been available for quite some time now, but it will soon be available right here in the UAE and the Middle East as a whole. We're just looking at a few days, if not weeks, before the feature is rolled out. Since this is usually the trend with Google Maps, it would roll out in certain locations first as a testing platform, and then we would find it rolling out globally.
Yes, and if you do want to get a COVID-19 vaccine in Sharjah, there is over 15 or 20 places to get them. You can get them at the Zahra Hospital, Zulekha Hospital, Wasat Health Center, Al Hamriya Health Center, and even Sharjah Health Center. Alhamdulillah, right here in the UAE, we have so many health centers that do provide the COVID-19 vaccine. You just have to go through that procedure to apply for one, and whether or not you are eligible for that vaccine. Thankfully, right here, it is free of cost, and you don't have to pay a dirham, and everything is muwaffar.
Exactly, and there are a lot of different drive-thrus that can even provide this for you. Sharjah Expo Center actually has some of them. One of the biggest vaccination sites and very organized. There's no risk for you even contracting the virus as you wait.
You know, a great plan for the family, actually, Omnia, is to go all the way to Al Zaid, look at the scenery, and go get a vaccine at the Al Zaid Expo Center and keep on going. I mean, Al Zaid isn't that far away from the Sharjah Center, around 45 minutes. Get some karak, put on Pulse 95, have a nice time with the family, and go get that vaccine. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen, to get vaccinated.
And it is something to celebrate. I mean, we've been waiting for this vaccine for a year, if not more.
Yeah, 100%. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the UAE does have an initiative to get 50% of the country to be vaccinated by March. We have a month left. Let's hit that mark, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the numbers aren't officially out, but what I know and what I've seen on social media, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are getting vaccinated. Everyone I know is getting vaccinated. Omni is vaccinated. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, being vaccinated is very important, but at the same time, we do need to still have that precautionary and preventive measures in line with the UAE government rules. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, and it is time for you to enjoy your weekend safely and not do big gatherings. And again, sanitize, wash your hands, and I do, guys, hope that you have a wonderful weekend.
I do so as well. Future Talk is coming to an end, but you can catch us again on Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. Until then, to help you celebrate the weekend, coming up is Afternoon Karak from 4 to 5 p.m. They're going to be giving you their well-known weekend recommendations. What movies and shows are trending at the moment? You can catch that on their show. We want to wish you a blessed afternoon and a blessed weekend.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to leave you with the song Mashup by Maroon 5. Now, I love Maroon 5.
I love it too.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.